Welcome to another Telltale Books video. I'm Greg, and I'm going to continue my Greg Bear series, which I haven't spent enough time with. I love his work and love his first name, but um, I want to do more of his work. I want to read more of his work, so I want to get back to it. I did get back to it and just read his sixth work in my listing of Greg Bear's works, a story published in 1977, April of 1977, titled Sun Planet. Sun Planet is a novella, so not too short, but not quite a novel. It was published in the April 1977 issue of Galaxy magazine. And one of the really cool things about this story, something that I wasn't until I started digging into Bear's bibliography and compiling this to start this series, which was about a year ago. Until I did that, I never realized that he was any kind of an artist. I knew he was a writer, but I didn't know he could paint and draw. But the cover of this issue of Galaxy is an illustration he painted, and all the interior illustrations for Sun Planet are by Greg Bear. I'll put them bigger on the screen. So Greg Bear wrote the story and he did all the illustrations, and he did a damn good job on the illustrations. I really love them, especially the cover. It's really good. I mean, there are better illustrators, but for somebody that isn't known for illustration, wow. So Sun Planet is a planet that human beings, we're in a far future. Human beings have spread through the galaxy, met other alien races, one in particular, and they stumble on this planet that they call Sun Planet. And what's really cool about this planet is that it was built at some time in the distant past by a race that they just call the Darks. Don't really get any more information about the Darks except that they built this planet, and this planet is very curious. It's a planet that orbits a star at quite a distance from the star, so the star doesn't provide a lot of heat to the planet. And the planet itself has a much larger molten core than planets would normally have. So it's almost like it's a star itself that has a hard crust around it with water and atmosphere outside that. But he doesn't really call it a star, but he does call it Sun Planet. So possibly that's what Bear was getting at, is that this was a converted small star. So human beings have brought genetically modified cetaceans, whales, to this planet because the planet seems to be encoded with data. There's all these structures all over the surface of the planet that were built, and they seem to be encoded with data. But human beings cannot get at the data. Cetaceans, able to use sonar, can get it and read it, and they figure out the language and they translate it, and so they're relating to the human beings what is contained in this data. But there's another group of aliens that wants to come and take over this planet because they want to find out about this data also. But the cetaceans, they're not crazy about anybody else coming to the planet because they feel like this planet was built for them. That's the setup of the whole thing. It's a a very good story. I wouldn't call it great. I won't call this a top tale, but I really enjoyed it because it felt like I was reading a Hal Clement story. This is the kind of wild astronomical world building that Hal Clement did in so many of his works. I just reviewed one called Cold Front. That was a really well built world. These guys were doing world building back when we didn't even call it world building, and they were coming up with some really, really unique situations and very cool situations. So I very definitely enjoyed the story. For those of you that want something a little longer, it is a novella, not quite a novel, but it is a novella, so it's not a short story. So you do get a little deeper into this. It's quite well written. Like I say, I wouldn't call it great, but it's very good. It's competent. It's professional. It's nice, and the illustrations. And by the way, for whatever reason, Greg Bear is dead, but you would have to ask him or maybe a friend of his or his wife or somebody why he never collected this or never expanded it into a novel. Apparently, the only place you're going to find it is in this issue of Galaxy, and as usual, there are free PDFs online if you want to search for them. But it was never reprinted, never collected. It hasn't been in any anthologies. It wasn't expanded into a novel, although it seems, at that length, it seems perfect for being expanded and published as a book. Though at this point in his career, he had not published any books yet. His first novel was yet to come. So I'm curious to know if any of you does know the history behind that story and why Greg Bear kind of just published it and forgot about it. Please leave it in the comments section, or any other thoughts you have about Sun Planet. Leave it in the comments section. This is a good story, recommended to anybody that loves science fiction world building with a really strong scientific leaning. Anybody that loves Hal Clement, you should try reading this story. It really reminds me of something Clement might have done. And that was Greg Bear's 6th story on my list. Number 7 is a story called Mandala, another novella. I hope you'll come back and join me for that video review after I read it. I'm not sure how quickly I'll get to it, but like I say, I want to do more Greg Bear. Love his work. And until then, I hope you'll watch our other videos and like this video, subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any. And hopefully you'll be here for the next video.